What's up, everyone? Welcome. We are live right now on CannaBuzz, and if you're joining us on YouTube or on Spotify or out there in the podcast universe, thank you so much for joining us. We have a great episode for you today. We are joined by the Dude from Dude Grows Show. We're going to be talking about the Dude Grows Show, a little bit of the history of the show and what's been going on over there and things like that, but also talking about the Dude Grows Cup coming up this summer. So we're going to be getting into some details and some news there and all sorts of things. JR's got a great show put together for you. But first, I need to make some shout outs. First off, shout out to everyone in the CannaBuzz community. If you enjoy this podcast, if you enjoy this channel, you can support us by joining the CannaBuzz members only community. You can download the app in the App Store by searching CannaBuzz, or go to cannabuzz.app in your browser, and you could subscribe every month for as little as $4.20, and your support is very, very helpful. It helps JR go to things like the Dude Grows Cup, go to the Emerald Cup, things like that. It's really, really helpful and helps just keep us going on. So we'd love to see you over there. You can join us in the live streams when we do these interviews and ask questions, when we do giveaways and all sorts of things. So join us over there and use the code BUZZ for your first month free. Also, shout out to sacred3mushrooms.com. If you want to grow your own mushrooms at home, you can do that with a grow kit for about $80 from our friend Tanazi over at sacred3mushrooms.com, and you can use the code CannaBuzz for a discount. And on his website, he also has links to spores and all sorts of things. It's pretty amazing to see all the different stuff that he's got available to you over there. So if you want to go jump down the rabbit hole and grow your own at home, check out sacred3mushrooms.com. And then our last couple shout outs, I'm going to throw it over to JR.
Thanks, Q. We're going to do some Tiki announcements first, like we always do. He's got a Jelly Rain, which is Jealousy by Candy Rain. And it's a reg. So you're going to get 10 reg seeds. So you might have a chance of getting a mail in there. It's kind of got a candy gelato sherbet type profile. Yields pretty heavy. And flower time is 8 to 9 weeks. So pick up on that one. TikiSeeds.com. And then we've got Brad from Raw Genetics. He has the Mystic Chrome. He's got a three that he released this month. Mystic Chrome, which is Hardcore OG by Ziggy Guy. He's got his Tengu, which is Purple Ziggy Guy by Blue Slushies. And that Purple Ziggy Guy is already winning hash awards. We've already seen a couple this year already. And then the last one is Stargate, which is that stuffed cherry gelato that I have in the garden that looks amazing, by Ziggy Guy. And you can find those at rawgenetics.io.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Brett, for joining us on the show. The Dude from the Dude Grows Show. We're excited to have you here tonight.
Dude, please. Yeah, hell yeah. I love being on other shows and hanging out because I'm not running the show, and it's good to relax. I want to talk a little grow at JRC. You got us going right into the grow a little bit here in a minute. But heck yeah, man. I like what you guys do. And like you mentioned before in the beginning, I think a lot of people don't realize how important some supporting your content creators are. We don't stop enough and say what the Dude Grow Show is. You don't want to be advertiser laden. Like, being listener supported is huge for the podcast community, for people getting out content. So yeah, support CannaBuzz if they've helped you grow, kept you company in the grow. So step it on up.
Thanks, man. Well, thanks for joining us. Let's see. Our first question was going to talk about your grow. So we were just kind of figuring out some production tricks behind the scenes before we started the episode. So you were going to try to show a video from your grow. Is that right?
Yeah, we can try and jump right into the grow. I'll do some
All right.
narration. Let's see if we get
All right. And I'm going to put
down
myself
here
on mute while my dog barks.
Let's see. How's this? There we go. JR, are we on point here? I'm backing up.
Yeah.
There we go. You guys got it. Are we looking at the flowers? Perfect.
Yes.
Dude, the grow is looking very happy. My style is on wheels. You can see all my plants are on metal caster. Those aren't cheap, but they last forever and they move great. That's my AC Infinity CO2 monitor that just basically, sniffing the ppms, and their controllers, badass, super affordable. Going down the line here, everything just got bambooed out. 3-foot bamboo stakes. Those are grassroots 5-gallon fabric pots. Of course, if you listen to the show, you know I love my pulse monitors. I did want to mention those grassroots fabric pots are the living soil pots, which have all the way down the side, except for the last 25% of the pot. They're not breathable. They have a lining to push the roots down to the bottom. So you also don't get as much as humidity off them. But compared to my last grow, this grow is dot towered. It's running grow dots, and since I'm addicted to additives, I run Cannazyme. I'm running Boost right now from Canna, and I'm running a liquid chitosan from a company up here just to try and help with any butter out or PM that tries to come my way. But so far, this grow is totally free of most of all my problems. A few thrips hanging out, but yeah, super stoked to be able to just hang out in there. And when the grow's going good, like you're happy, you want to share. You're like freaking super stoked on it. So 3 weeks in, if I didn't say that, 70-day strain Rockstar, gifted to me from a neighbor that had extra cuts and said, you have to grow this. And the reason I was so stoked on growing it was because 2 of my neighbors are growing it. So what's better at the end of a harvest than everybody getting together and bringing their fire and being like, what's up with mine? What's that? Put it up against each other, right?
Well, that kind of leads me into the next question, dude. I think a lot of people don't know that you took second place at the Adam Dunn Invitational back in the day when that was a very prestigious cup. Can you kind of talk about your entry and how that all went down?
The ADSI, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Adam
Yeah,
Dunn
that was
Invitational.
interesting. That good memory. That was a while back. I don't even know how I got into it. Scroopy Noopers was a strain. I was really proud of the harvest. That was a cut I got from Moby Dill that might have been growing at the Herbal Cure. I'm not sure. That went around a little bit. And it just turned out great. So they had this grow. The format's rather interesting. They rent this place out, and it's basically kind of set up like a old school bar atmosphere, but everybody's there to toke. Booths, like 4 people at a booth, and a server would come around and serve everybody a strain, and then but you would have to come to a contention between the 4 of you, which you thought was best. So that was kind of interesting to have discussion. Everybody tokes on the same thing, and you're like, what do you give that? Like, what do you give that? And then also, if you know your strain well, you got to keep it cool because the Scroopy Noopers came to my table. And you can't be like, oh yeah, like just this is, you don't want to say it's yours. You want to be very, fair. But that was definitely a cool event. I haven't competed in anything since. Right now, there's so much fire out there. This JR, like it's insane how much good weed is going on. But yeah, that was definitely a little bit of an honor, and shout out. I think Adam Dunn's still rocking some good genetics and in the scene.
Yeah, he does good stuff for the community. He put on that, I think he was the one who put on that Denver Mart, which allowed people to just go post up and sell their wares. And so pop-up style. So he's done a lot for the community.
Interesting, man. Taking Tops, Turpicana Kyle, I believe, brought me in on that. They're also the ones. We'll talk about the GGC Cup coming up, but I think it's a barbecue joint and they have events there, and it's kind of like on the down low. Here's also a little pop-up market for all your goods. I like it. Goods being quality ass extracts, some very affordable stuff made by your local homies.
Yeah, well, we have to get to the market somehow.
Yeah, no, I really like that model. I see it here and there, and I think it's become, depending on how it's promoted, it's got to be down low, but it's not a priority of law enforcement, and not everywhere. Sure, some places, but especially not in Denver, man. They got enough going on. They're not trying to pop, take out people at a little market.
So we've got definitely like a crossover in our audiences where folks are, fans of ours, and they're also fans of the Dude Grows show. But I don't know how many of folks might know the origin story behind how you guys came up with the show to begin with. I mean, a lot of folks know just from listening to the show that obviously you and Scotty have been friends for a while and whatnot. But how did the show come to be?
So keep it not too quick. I met Scotty I moved down to Florida when my girl went to school down there, to college down there, met him at a bar. I'm like, I'm looking for weed. I'm looking for a connect down here. Ended up token, made a good friend. And then I moved away to Colorado, and eventually weed became not more illegal, but this Scotty had a kid, and he's like, I can't grow and look at potential big issues in my life. And I'm like, dude, here it's medical. You get a card and you get a slap on the wrist. So then he moved to Colorado. I was making grow videos since 2009 about on YouTube, where it's just me. Hey, this is how you clone. And it wasn't to start a business or do anything. I was just kind of having fun with it. I worked at a grow store for a long time. And then basically had good time making videos to get good information out there. And then that turned into one day. I like the idea of podcasting. It's super simple. Like it seemed like an easy thing to do. I'm a simple-minded guy, like my investment strategies in life, if I do anything, is maybe a tiny bit of real estate because I can wrap my head around something simple like renting a home. Podcasting, super easy. And then one episode out, just me. Second episode, Scotty's like, I should get involved. And then slowly Simple went away. Just kidding. We started doing, he's like, we should do 3-hour episodes like Rogan. That was kind of interesting. We had a studio at Way to Grow. It was audio only forever. When he brought forth the let's do video, I was like, oh my God, they're just trying to make everything more complicated. But his pushing, and that's what it takes. Not only in business, but friends or ideas, the yin and yang. You guys hear it on the show. I'm on the show to try and keep it on the rails and have a good time. If we're not having a good time, podcasting is also about laughing with your friends and feeling like you're hanging out, right? And that's what I want people to get from the show too. I want them to learn about growing, but I don't want to feel them they're sitting on a couch, ripping a bong with friends, talking about grow, laughing as well and hanging out. So that's a real important vibe to the show. And then lastly, getting the information out in Colorado. Colorado's the first state to go rec. That gives you a pretty good feeling of, okay, if I just start a show about talking about weed, they're probably not going to come knock my door down or anything because I'm growing at the time, and you think all the time about what potentially could happen if you're going to get busted or whatnot. So that was huge to try and get legitimate information out. The forums at times are a mess. They're obviously not always friendly. People could be keyboard warriors, and in a lot of the different forums. So those were all of the motivations to get it going.
That's really cool. That's wild when you just run into people and then like the course of your whole life changes, just that one chance meeting looking for a bag on a pier has kind of led you to where you are today. That's crazy. So, I mean, I'm on the inside because I work with you guys a lot. So I kind of know the dynamic is when it's the podcast time, you're steering the ship. But Scotty is kind of a lot of the creative force behind the show. How did you guys kind of find that balance?
It's been interesting, when you're working with somebody that's a friend and also a business partner. I've been also, you don't really get in arguments. Scotty likes to throw, what do they say? You're going to throw a lot of shit at the wall and see what sticks. We've gone from a claw machine in the studio to freaking throwing
darts at Kyle.
To like having at one point, I think we were doing 4 shows a week, and then we're just like spinning our wheels trying to create content. And the back end is really, there is really a back end we don't talk about enough between the people in the team. Everybody knows Grambo. He's part of the show. He's a great part of the show. He's been an awesome addition. Then there's Banner, who, does the web stuff, helps us take care of anything tech that I don't want to touch. High C helping with marketing and stuff. So this is all part of just like what's behind it and what's going on. And yeah.
Sorry, I just realized I was muted on the stream side. I've been following you guys. Obviously I've been following you guys for a long time, but more recently I've been following you guys, and I haven't been plugged in super well enough to be able to kind of track what's going on. But what I have noticed is that you guys have multiple channels and, different videos going up in different places. So I'd love for you to kind of break it down for folks like me that have, their Dude Grows fans, but maybe they haven't watched as recently, or maybe they're newer to the show. How do you guys do things? Because you guys do things a little bit differently than before, which I think is also cool, by the way, on the video podcast front. Like, you guys were early on that. Like, just recently, YouTube's CEO, like just a week or two ago, he put out his like letter for the year, and they were saying how YouTube is like the place for podcasts now. So it's just like, things have
And they're
changed.
okay with weed?
The weed part,
a lot nicer.
I don't know about the weed part, but anyways, so yeah, like, catch me up on what's kind of going on with the different channel strategy. How do you guys kind of approach that?
So 2 channels, 2 different types of content. Our main channel that's not always been there, was canceled once, but it is Dude Grows Show. Dude Grows Show. That's where we do our longer format show 2 times a week. And Scotty, which I agree with but didn't like, he's like, we have to do short form content. People have short attention spans these days. They want something 10 minutes less, 7 minutes less. I don't know what's the rule on TikTok. Can it even be like a minute? So I don't do the TikTok, but so yeah, but then we created another channel. So it's pretty easy. Dude Grows Show on YouTube or Dude Grows Grow Talk. And you can search Dude Grows Grow Talk and you'll find our shorts channel. That channel has shorts on everything from news culture to grow beginning stuff to grow intermediate stuff. It's just meant to be consumable content and another way to try and, get people that are searching for content on the web to see that we have our other show as well.
And is the Grow Talk stuff from like your main show, or do you guys record that stuff separately? There's like Grow Talk channel stuff.
My idea is to take decent clips from the main show and have another channel, but I was told that's not fresh enough content. Like it's different content. It's not regurgitated. It's not clipped. It's its own every little 2 times a week. We have two shows a week going out. So yeah, check out Dude Grows Grow Talk.
Yeah, I've caught some of those clips. I like them.
I like that because as the show is transitioning, and like you said, the main part of the show is a feel good kind of. My analogy is like a car talk for weed, where and a lot of our hardcore DGC are just pining for Grow Talk. I mean, so to be able to satisfy both of those niches, I think was really brilliant on your guys' behalf. I know, like I said, a lot of us DGC, we really like getting new, insightful grow information, which you guys seem to be doing a really good job at lately.
I loved Car Talk. I used to like that show. See, that's like, were those guys brothers too? Is that what they were or no?
Yeah, they were.
So
Click and
Tap. They had the good. They had the good.
Clack.
Click and Clack, the Tappet brothers.
Yeah.
So now recently you guys kind of made this transition from the formal Patreon format, which is very limited in what it offers your listeners. And now you've gone to the Real DGC app this year. Can you kind of tell us about that and tell us how that's going?
Yeah, I mean, Patreon, if people are out there trying to monetize, they're being creative, whatever they are. Patreon provides basically it's a credit card processor with functionality to a community for people that, don't have another route with it. It is limited in its engagement. Shutting our Patreon, we didn't shut it down, but we transitioned from it and let everybody that was on there know we're going to realdgc.com. Instagram also motivated us with that. Like, we're not trying to be the Instagram of weed. I gladly would be. But it did grow pretty quick. We're at 4,300 people over there now, and realdgc.com is free. And I'm pretty impressed with the news feed, man. You post a question. The DGC has always helped the DGC out. A perfect quick example. This is awesome about a community. We had a Smokeopotamus DGC get a full 2x4 AC Infinity kit stolen from him a couple days before Christmas off his porch, right? Porch Pirates took this whole damn kit. So we ended up getting just a 2x4 tent. We had an HLG 320 light at the warehouse that was sitting there, I think, from the cup, sent them that. Some other DGC reached out and helped out. We had DGC, Johnny, I'm so screwing up. Gift him. He just won the AI controller. He's like, you know what? Give it to Smokeopotamus. Let's make this right so he can get his full tent. I was just feeling for him, man. It's talking about he was on break from work and he was sitting there rubbing his hands, waiting for his full tent to set up. And then you know what I mean? Over the holidays, you really look forward to some of those type of little projects.
Yeah.
And sometimes us growers, that's our opportunities to upgrade or to get new stuff is our birthdays and on Christmas and stuff like that. So yeah, that had to be a severe blow to the brother. And also shout out to the DGC for the way that they mentor people. This is not a community of gatekeepers. This is a community of mentors, and everyone is willing to share their information. And often you may find sharing of the medicine as well, which is always awesome. So the next question kind of leads into sponsorship. Real Growers provides the bulk of the sponsorship, and one thing that developed over time is this blueprint for the podcast. And the podcast sells the product, but in turn, the product pays for the podcast. At what point did you guys realize this was kind of a recipe for success?
As far as Dude Grow Show, Real Growers.
You're on mute, JR.
Sorry, I feel like as far as Real Growers and Recharge goes, Recharge is kind of the pushing force up until Grow Dots and the buckets and everything. And so the podcast was selling the product, and then the product was paying for the podcast. And I think other people have tried to emulate that since your guys is kind of stumbling across that blueprint. Do you know, was that just by accident?
No, I mean, kind of. I mean, Scotty was trying to do another startup when he moved to Fort Collins. I forgot the name of, they had some liquid kelps, they had a few powders, and really trying to, he really likes microbes. And then after that didn't work out with the investor, he's like, I got to get my own thing going. And then by that time, you start to realize, okay, we do have, anytime that you realize you have somewhat of an audience, and if you can offer value, of course, like I said, it does take time and money to run these things. As much as we all love doing it, then that pairs nicely. Of course, it pairs really well. And for me, it's, I wish sometimes it's like, man, I got to come up with my own product. But my product is the DGC in the community, like as far as trying to continue to build that, because it can be, it's a big thing to have. Even just Scotty, what does he have? 3 products, 2 main, Grow Dots and Recharge. You got to get like a whole separate warehouse and people, and I don't know, it's almost too much for me. So but no, if that answers your question, JR.
He's kind of touching on something that I know at least him and I have talked about a lot, where just calling it out, there's Stash Blend, there's a couple others in like the weed space, but one of my favorite examples, or one that inspires me outside of weed, is Epic Gardening. He's like one of the biggest gardening YouTubers, and he went out and bought Botanical Interests, I think is what their name. They're the main seed company that you see at like most gardening stores. He bought that seed company, and then he also makes like flats, and he makes all these different things. And so he showed that like through a YouTube channel about gardening, you could do all these different things, and that's how he was able to kind of make this business. And it's really cool to see how content creators are able to make it work. And it's really hard in the weed context to do that because we don't have YouTube monetization, so you don't have YouTube ads. Your video reach seems to be limited quite a bit, or at least you don't, obviously there are some weed creators on YouTube that go viral or whatever, have big YouTube videos, but it's a lot harder to do. And so anyways, this all goes back to you guys. And I think we've just talked about in the past that it's, you guys were early on and able to kind of figure out how to make this work, because it costs money to have like a mini TV studio out at Scotty's house, and then all the stuff that you have at your place and all that kind of stuff.
My setup's easy, but when I see Grambo sitting at the boards, Grambo at the boards, I look at his setup when I'm in the bakery, I'm like, oh man, I don't want to be sitting there. He definitely goes, he's constantly doing shiz when the show's going. So, which is awesome.
Nice. And so now that the show is kind of, in my opinion, elevated to another level, since you guys got Grambo on, and you brought on more solid members. I mean, the crew that you have working on your podcast is as professional as it gets. And so what can some of the people look forward to coming up to 2025 for the Dude Grow Show?
I mean, we're going to talk about the cup in a minute. As far as the show goes, our goal is always, but we need to do it more. We do actually have a shout out to, I know you had Dr. Riley on your show, I believe. Did you see, Mark out in Oregon, he recommended her as well. I was traveling on a road trip with my dad. He's like, there's a really good episode where she interviews this smuggler dude, and it was cool. I'm like, you know what, we should get her on the show, and trying to share the audience, get other YouTubers to hang out more, and have it, not that it's bad, not just be me and Scotty, get some more guests on there. But at times that's as well as can be not troubling. You just gotta, schedule it right. You don't always know how somebody's going to be on a show either. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, more guests and more bring more knowledge from experts on our Wednesday Grow Talk show. I always want our Wednesday Grow Talk show to be pretty Grow Talkish, if you will, for lack of a better adjective, because that's important to me. We always ask the title on the top of that show in big words is, how does this make somebody a better grower? And we always like revisit that if we get off topic with what we're trying to discuss on that show. So
That's cool. Yeah, it's something that we've kind of come back to with our show is we know a lot of people watch and listen to our show and they want the grow content, and we love to go off on other topics too, and we're thankful for the viewers for going along with us on those topics as well, but it's the grow stuff that people love as well.
Yeah, and on that topic, we've got a double header. We've got the dude this week, and next week we have Lance from First Smoke of the Day. Pretty stoked to have that on. So this is our little podcasting block that we're going to do. And sometimes we do that where we'll have themes of, this is our living soil block, this is our microbes block, and it just kind of works out that way.
Yeah. It's a lot to learn. Keep learning. There's so much I say when I talk about it on the show, like what I haven't done in my grow. I mean, right now I'm going back to just the growing, I'm growing a clone. Every plant's exactly the same. I want to do some more autos. I want to do individuals, but I'm trying to prove to myself right now, because when I grew out a beautiful crop of orange gasm, I was told this is what this market doesn't want, that I can grow something like market awesome, and I'm not trying to sling weed here and grow a bunch of weed to sell. I just put myself to the challenge, and then growing out one strain for a while can really help you learn about what different products do what lighting does what. I have 3 UV bars above my canopy right now, and I still want to turn all 3 on, but that's not going to help. I need to turn one of them on because each one does about a 3.5 or 4 foot area. Or those Migro UV bars. And now that I'm doing all the same strain, I can get some A and B testing. So I want to play with that for a little bit.
Yeah, I like that. You're willing in your garden, you're willing to, take some chances or try out new stuff. And I think that's commendable because, I don't know. For me, it's like the success of each run is the success of basically my family eating. So I don't have a lot of room for, throwing stuff around, shit at the wall, as you might say. So just like the way that you approach that whole powdery mildew scene, that elevated and helped a lot of people understand not only powdery mildew itself, but what the battle is like coming from a veteran. Now, this is not just some new user who was dealing with it. You came in and you provided a lot of really good information and helped people level up, but with your own experience. You're literally cutting down a third of or 2/3 of your harvest, and so that's a sacrifice that, not all of us can make.
Well, first off, fuck that powdery mildew. And then, I hear you. I know Scotty doesn't like it. Sometimes you kind of he's like, you're going to tell the audience you took in clones with thrips? I'm like, yeah, I'll sign up for this. I don't need, unlike you're saying, JR, if I don't harvest, I can still pay my bills. Everything's okay. I want to learn something. I want to say in the end, right now, what I'm trying to play with is, can I beat thrips with one product? We talked about on the Happy Hour, Lost Coast plant therapy, by spraying it in the soil and just the lower part of the plant only on a heavy 3-day cycle to interrupt that life stage. I know that's not necessarily, an entomologist, or you need the thrips, you need the nematodes in the soil and another product but I just want to be able to have the option to play with these things.
I think that's
how
great.
Deeper into that experiment are you?
Probably, and I need to make sure I'm super consistent on that 3-day spray to the soil. But 2.5 weeks in, and I say I am 90% good. So in the end, which some people wouldn't like this either. I just hear again Scotty chiming in my ear. He's like, that's not proper. If I only have a 10% infestation of thrips on my lower canopy because I'm killing them off by spraying the upper soil, I'm fine with that. What I'm going to do because they're not going to be up in my canopy, I don't want them in my buds. But what I'm going to do, I don't think they go by the trichomes anyway. They want to stay away from that stuff. Is next step would be to add beneficial nematodes into the root zone to try and hit that. I'm to the point now anyway. I'm 3 weeks into bloom. I'm not willing to spray much of anything on the flowers. They're starting to get some terps, starting to get a little funk. So
yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that.
So let's dive into the Dude Grows Cup. For folks that haven't been before or aren't familiar with it, what is the Dude Grows Cup? If someone's interested in it, what do they, what can they look forward to?
Dude Grows Cup is at its core a competition for home growers to bring the dank, as it says over here or there, and bring their flower. Anybody can compete. We had, I think, almost 60. We try to cap it around 60 entries. There are professional bud tenders there making it happen. You can walk around as a judge with your ticket, sample whatever you want. And also it's just a trip. My favorite part of it is when I run into people that are from a state, even if they're legal, they're very limited in what can be done, or still a few prohibition states, and they're like, my mind is blown, bro. Like, this is the first time I've ever seen anything like this. Where are the cops? Like, what's gonna happen?
And it's wild because you go to events and it's usually a mix of people, but with this event, it is 99.9% growers. And we're all converging from sometimes all over the world. We've got people who show up from Ireland, New Zealand. I mean, all over the world, people have come to hang out at the Dude Grows Cup. And I want to say it's under a giant circus tent. And the vendors kind of go around. And so can you kind of talk about some of the vendors that'll be there this year?
Oh, yeah. You're right. Yeah. So the whole outside is surrounded by vendors. Let me pull up my vendor deck here. I know for sure, like Canna's going to be there. Canna did their own little tent last year, and I heard actually a lot of people had some great grow talk with Chris from Canna out there because he's a grower. He loves to talk grow. And not to be cheesy, they have the best swag. Like Canna's, you go to the Canna tent, they're going to give you like something freaking nice. Of course, real growers. We're going to have, here we go. I got it open now. All kinds of people with genetics, seeds, clones. Also, hopefully, last year, I don't have the company name. There's of course, Tanazi will be there with his mushroom kits and all kinds of options, we'll say. Another dude was there from a mushroom company. He had all these different strains of mushroom stories behind them. And I'm pretty excited about that movement with decriminalization and normalization of mushrooms and whatever, psychedelic, non-psychedelic, just all different forms. But that's what's cool about it. You walk around and it's a pretty unique marketplace, right? Between what you can get and what's available. People usually have, be careful, edibles. I'm with Banner on this. He says edibles at an event are a no-no. Take them home. Make sure you enjoy the event. People have told people that edibles have this many milligrams. Trust me, even though I forgot who makes the nerd ropes. They had like these do you remember, Jared, nerd rope edibles that were like professional candy?
Bro, and what about homeboy who gives you it's like a 1-inch square that's 1,000 milligrams?
Yeah, no bueno. We'll have Extract Craft there. I know you're familiar with them, JR.
Yeah.
What do you give Extract Craft in one sentence? I say it's a machine to make not
concentrates.
Okay.
It makes concentrated oils, and that's the thing, is it kind of crosses over into the food industry as well, because they could do oil extractions and infusions as well. But any oil that you can do an alkaloid separation in, like some kind of alcohol, you can bubble that out and kind of refine it. So I personally started using it for cancer to make RSO. They were kind enough to donate me a machine. And so what I was able to do was kind of get that whole thing dialed in and then use hemp seed oil for the omega factors of the brain, but also to kind of thin and dial in the dose so that I could have more of a regulated dose. Because raw RSO, just straight out of the syringe, you got to be careful. It can be a doozy.
Yeah, for sure. Did I miss a couple? Oh, we're gonna have, if you want to get a tattoo from Daryl or Denise,
That's cool. Yeah.
Denise Peach. We have a tattoo artist that'll be on site. And I'm working on some of the flavor, if you will. I'm like, should we get a caricature drawing person? But I'm like, no, that kind of takes too long to get drawn. But working on some other fun things, of course, food vendors. And man, the funnest thing sometimes I sit back and once the event really gets going, you can sit back and go out of the tent, which there's a huge tent, and see smoke coming out just the sides of the tent on a nice Colorado day. It's a beautiful sight.
Yeah, I definitely we did last summer when we did a show at the Emerald Cup, and we did like episode before the Emerald Cup and after, and it was really cool. We had people that came to the Emerald Cup because they saw our episode about the show, which was kind of cool. And so,
Yeah.
with that in mind, I would encourage folks, if you are thinking that you would love to go to like a weed festival and you don't know where or which one to go to, I think this one is one of the best ones that you can go to. Honestly, most of the festivals out there don't really exist anymore, or if they're in a state like California when it went recreationally legal and then they still exist today, it means they've got the state and all kinds of people all up in their ass making sure that they're doing everything, crossing their I's and to the T's, and it kind of sucks a lot of the fun out of it. It's not to say that we didn't have fun at the Emerald Cup, but it's a different vibe where the Dew Grows Cup is more of like your, you know, local community weed festival, and everyone's really nice, and you get to in contact with so many different people that have so many different genetics and so many different things like JR was talking about. You meet so many different backgrounds or people that will just have like tons of knowledge about native species, and then tons of knowledge about mushrooms, and tons of knowledge about this, that, and the other thing. And so it's just a really great opportunity to hang out, smoke some great weed, and have a lot of fun. So I would highly encourage people to check it out. You guys are still in the same spot, which is
Thank
like
you.
an hour north of Denver. Is that right?
Yeah, just over probably an hour 15 or so. It's we did actually add a day as well. Sunday there's a hash bash, which was inspired by Taking Tops, and Tropicana Kyle said we're missing out on a whole nother community of people that don't even smoke weed. So that's going to be a day of a little bit of a concentrate competition. And yeah, this is take advantage for sure. We don't know if we're going to move venues eventually. I don't really want the DTC Cup to become crazy bigger. We top out at about 500 people now. And I feel like the bigger you get, like you said, the more potential regulation or paperwork or I don't know what. And plus, at this size, it can still, you can go around and hang out, meet people, and not have it just be too crazy.
And I'm telling you, if you're in a region where it's opening up and this seems like something you might be interested in doing locally in your region, come out to this cup and watch how it's done. The Duke Gross Cup has been evolving since 2015, folks. And so every year it gets better and better. And Dude has been wrapping his head around this event for almost a decade now. And so if you want to see how a really well-run event is done, come hang out. I guarantee you'll have a good time.
You're giving me anxiety already, JR. No, last year has ran the best it has been, but that's it, man. We don't want to. I've been to enough events. I know you have JRQ on and off, where they did not break the stoner stereotype. It was not ran well, and especially if we're charging people legit money for tickets, it's got to be a great experience. And I want it to be, ran well and have people be like, damn, that's how it should go. That was awesome. So appreciate the kind words.
Now, Friday has changed. Go ahead and tell us about Friday night.
Well, it's still we used to call it like the VIP party, right? Now it's kind of like you can get a quote 3-day pass. You can come. We're still calling it VIP party. Friday night is going to be a dinner, some appies. We're going to be having um, Taking Tops and Tropicana Kyle will be setting up for just serving. They're going to have all their products there. You can try them all out. You're not, well, you're paying to come to the VIP party, but you're not buying their stuff to trying it out. Like they're hanging out, letting people try all kinds of stuff. There'll be plenty of good flour to go around. We had requests for more game, like interaction. We did a pinata one year, which we got to come
That
up
was
with a little
cool.
bit more. Yeah, we got to come up with a little bit more fun things to do. But most people like just come and be able to hang out. You get a VIP goodie bag, which includes some genetics, some coupons, some custom stuff. I think we're going to have a custom little DGC Cup poster in there this year, and just have another. You're already out there. Have another day of fun. Those tickets are pretty. They're a lot more limited than the other. I think we have 150 of those tickets available for Friday night. So, but it's a great mingling night, chilling out.
And so you kind of hinted around to food vendors. Have you guys locked down what you're going to have
Ooh, the
available this
taco
year?
truck. Taco truck's always been there for the day of. Cortez the Conqueror. We're working on a menu. He's kind of a foodie. He wants to be able to hang out. I think he might have something down in the tent, with a 10 by 10 off the backside, grilling out some stuff and doing things. I don't know if it's dipping dots or some other or Kona ice. We have some type of for the sweet tooth typically. And that's mainly what we have so far for this year. Oh, actually, well, and actually Sunday, another day, I keep forgetting we have a barbecue food truck instead of a Mexican food truck. And then the menu Friday night is currently on the works. Currently on the works. I think we're going to have some smoked barbecue, and of course, Rasta Jeff, a vegan option for whoever else too. We got to make sure you have good vegan options this day and age. Um, and yeah, I'm a geek with the whole. I like to always I get high and I go shop some of those Whole Foods trays. They're like, man, these things are spendy,
Mm.
but they look freaking good. And sorry, I've gotten some trays from the local supermarket before, and I'm like, these just aren't good enough. I'm
Yeah.
spoiled. So I try to get a few Whole Foods dessert trays as well, which are awesome, and fruit trays and things like that. And just bring up the experience. If you're holding a VIP party, you want everybody to go away and be like, damn, that felt like a good VIP party. They are very important DGC.
And I
Word.
realized that I'm not sure if we've ever said the date for the Dude Grows Cup. Have you guys announced that yet?
That's hilarious.
Uh, but
Ah,
uh, but I just wanted to make sure we got it out before we
The
get too
weekend of
far.
June 7th, Saturday,
Okay.
June 7th is the cup. VIP party the day before, and Sunday, the concentrate, the hash bash. So,
Cool.
yeah, and if you are thinking about coming, figure out where you're staying ASAP. Fort Collins is a busy summer town, gets expensive, and places fill up.
well, that gives us a chance to shout out the Days Inn because a lot of the DGC kind of converge at the Days Inn because they have this really cool smoking area and they're totally cool with people puffing down. The staff there has always been really kind and generous to us. So shout out to the Days Inn. A lot of DGC will be there, and it's right on the Highway 25, right?
Yep. Yep. Yeah, and that's pretty convenient to the venue as well. Everything's good there, JR, at the Days Inn?
Hey, it's affordable excellence.
I love it. Yes.
And what city is that in?
Fort Collins.
Fort
Yeah,
Collins,
that's right.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. I was gonna type it into the Googles. Well, let's see. Well, so every year when you guys announce the winner, so we didn't get too deep into the details earlier, but essentially, in a nutshell, folks enter in their weed. Everyone gets to smoke it and vote on which one they think is the best, and then at the end, you guys count up all the votes, tally up all the votes, and you announce the winners. You guys usually have some like sponsors that come through with prizes.
Yeah.
Are you guys teasing out what sort of prizes there are, or maybe what sort of things people should expect?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely usually have like some grow kit as far as sometimes it's hard to give growers. I want to say like, oh, we'll hook them up with some, Canna loves to take care of the crew, but nutrients are a tough one because some people are on such a regimen, that they don't want to deal with that. A Pulse Pro, we usually have Pulse Pro meters, Pulse Zero meters. HLG will probably step up with some lights. AC Infinity usually gives, we're going to try and get from AC Infinity, instead of getting what we don't know what people need, some first, second, and third really nice gift cards. Same as Seeds Here Now, stepping up with some good gift cards. And then after that, there is custom glass coming from, DGC in New York. They make these, they're going to make stash jars. One Eyed Cat has one. Jay, I don't know if you know who I'm talking about. He has the stash jar, and it's etched on. So we'll have custom glass stash jars, as well as the trophies, of course, for first, second, and third. And maybe, because I do need to make another round of glass for the cup from Stephen Baker, glass artist, some DGC bowls or something. We're going to keep it creative. I like to try and have some, which has been awesome, locally done things through the DGC. Just like I said, for the VIP goodie bags, I'm thinking about Navin Johnson is DGC. He's an artist. And this is funny, Jerry will like this, because I bust your balls for AI artwork sometimes, just having fun. And he sent me this cool like poster of like the DGC cup, balloons, and jars, and looked really neat. And I was like, you know what? Everything looks awesome. Could we maybe just put the word cup closer to DGC? And he's like, dude, that's like, I painted that. I'm like, oh shit, it is staying how it is. He's like, I will scan it and send it to you. So just having the DGC make stuff. Casa del Waco, I think he might make some oneies. So we're gonna have some of the local DGC artists have gear in there as well. I think that's special.
It is cool. I don't know. One year, they someone brought the collage. You remember that?
Yeah, that was the year I went a couple years ago.
Yeah, that was 23, and so mine is 9 out of 15, and so this is one piece of a whole picture, and so this is my piece of that picture.
Who's that from?
God, I feel like
you're reminding me if I can.
I think he watches the show, so shout out to
dude.
He's
been DGC forever, and I feel like a dick for not remembering.
Yeah, he was nice to me too. So shout out to that guy.
Yeah, and he had these really cool saw blades. He was making art on saw blades. Just really cool stuff. God, I can't.
Yeah, man. When I saw that, I was like,
was it Ned Denver? Was it Ned Denver?
It's got this weird signature on the back, the same as yours. I feel bad as well.
How did you get that through airport security?
Yeah, how'd you get that home?
I don't even recall. I think it might have been in my suitcase. I don't remember.
He just had it on a chain and was wearing it like
I was like, what up, bitches?
It's awesome.
So if folks are inspired or excited, are tickets still available for the Dude Grows Cup?
Yeah, act now. The problem is this kind of in a good way, and it can be in a bad way. This event has matured. We're hitting usually our ticket marks as far as the amount of people we're allowed to have at this venue, is why the size is what it is. We can't go much over that just due to parking, this is at a guy's little hobby farm. He has neighbors and whatnot. And then a lot of times some people that are OG, just that either forgot or didn't, like, oh man, I've come every year, and like that sucks too, because you want somebody that's been there to be able to continue to come. So yeah, tickets are definitely available right now. We will see a decent uptick as we get closer for sure, but dgccup.com will take care of all your needs, whether you want to just judge. Anybody that comes is a judge. If you want to compete, there's a link to click to compete as well. And that'll give you all the details on competing in flower. But that requires whatever you can stuff into a nice quart mason jar is a good, we used to say an ounce, but if you can put more in there, because we've got some mason jars that are like half full, and they're saying like, fill up that mason jar, because we've had jars go empty before.
Yeah, I think that's cool too. I think people should bring more than an ounce for competition, because everybody gets to go around and try each flavor as many times as they want before they vote with their tokens. So make sure you bring a lot. And one thing we can clarify here too is you cannot compete if you're not present at the event. You can't mail in an entry from out of state somewhere and compete. You got to come join the party to compete.
You got it. And when we use that word compete, dear God, I mean, for
Yeah,
one,
right.
how many people are going to try 50 strains? You got to go around and try and figure out what you're doing. I think some people have. I've ran into growers. He's like, this
Yeah,
one
there's
dude
people that do it every year.
had a journal that is, he's like, let me take you back to 2022. And nice, JR. Hell
Though it's
yeah.
not a competition, I got to tell you, folks, it feels really good to win. It really feels good to win.
The it definitely, I mean, the strains that come in the top are fire. When you walk around, it's rare that you see something that's like, man, that's just horrible. And to be honest, if I see something that looks horrible, I'm gonna try it to see if I surprise myself. Because I've smoked weed before that I said looks horrible, and I was like, that was pretty damn good, actually. Can't judge
Yeah.
all on that.
Yeah, it's I've never competed in it, but I've still had fun because you've got like 50 or 40 something entries or however many entries there's
Yeah.
jars across these tables. You everyone gets glass 1E or whatever it is to try it out. And so, everyone, like you were just saying, Brett, everyone has their own strategy. There are some people that want to go through and try everything. I'm typically more of like a visual person. I kind of go through and look for what looks interesting or maybe what smells and looks interesting, and then you try it. But then it's also a lot of fun to kind of walk around, get the feel for what people are excited about, what are people talking
Yeah.
about, and then you kind of see what there's a buzz, forgive the pun, and you go over and you try that, and then that's the fun at the end too. When people are the winners are announced, you get to see kind of what people's kind of what the zeitgeist was. The zeitgeist right? Was everyone saying that this one is going to win, and that didn't even place in the top 5 or whatever it is. So it's just a lot of fun to kind of go through that whole experience, and not to mention all the other stuff about the vendors that we were talking about earlier. There's just so many different things that you get access to through the Duke Grows Cup that it's really come to be a really great weed festival that I highly suggest that even if you're not like a dude grows head and you just want to go to a
I've heard
fun
that
weed
before.
festival, you should check it out because it's a lot of fun and it's just a fun vibe.
Cheers. Appreciate it.
Yeah, what I did last time is I rented a Tesla through Turo and I got like an Airbnb for the weekend or whatever north of Denver, and it's a fun little weekend. So if you can swing it in your budget, check it out. But any last shout outs from JR before we throw it over to the dude?
Yeah, I just want to remind people that the third day is going to be a hash competition. So it will be a new event to the event. And it's going to be epic. There's going to be some guys bringing the heat. So that is going to be an added bonus. And I like that the Dude Grows is the thing that's successful about Dude Grows is the way they pivot. And we know in this industry, we talk about this a lot on this show, is about pivoting. And for them to make that leap into having that third day to bring on the other whole giant part of our community is a wise decision. We've talked about how a lot of the younger people, they don't really smoke flower. They think flower is for old people. And so to bring on that third day and to have that level of competition, I think that's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Dude,
Because
I still fight the entourage. Like I agree. I've still not had a concentrate that was gave me the full. JR, you said before, some things just don't have the legs. I don't know if you're talking about some of the THC pens out there, if you will, but
Right.
like a nice hit of flowers, and it's not a, it's a different high. It seems like a more full, complete
natural.
high to me
When I
than I don't F around like Banner was saying about edibles at events. Man, I had, ooh, I think it was rods or something that gave me at the, we had a 420 party or some meetup in Colorado not that long ago, and he's like, you just got to hit this, just a little hit, and next thing you know, I take too big of a hit, and I got to talk myself down not horrible for like the next 25, 30 minutes at my event. And I'm like, man, like I gotta,
Why did I do
especially
that?
events are a little different too. It's not like I get so paranoid I can't talk to people, but I want to be able to enjoy it and not have that. And a few times, man, different concentrates get that just too elevated for me. Trey, you gotta. The only way I know to control it is just by taking little tiny hits or have a little. But I'm just gonna lean back, like you said, for old dudes, JR, and toke on my flower. No, I'm good.
Though, if there's any party where if you like get too high and you just need to kind of like sit somewhere and spaced out, if there's any party where that you could do that and everyone would probably understand, it's probably this party. Or you could just be like, ah, yeah, I get it.
Unless you're running the party.
Yeah,
Unless you're
exactly.
running it. And then I start to think even if everything's running good, that's when you guys have been there. I start to think like, oh my gosh,
Yeah,
what's going on
exactly.
with this? What's going on with this?
Yeah.
Oh, I love
Well,
it.
Before we go,
yeah, go ahead.
I just want to ask you about the breeders that are showing up. I know Soup the Gardener is going to be bringing some of his breeding projects that he's been doing and offering those up to the folks as well.
Heck yeah. As far as what other breeders, I don't have the list in front of me. I know we usually Rasta Jeff is always there, the Irie Army in force, if you will. And I'm not saying Irie Army in a bad way. Shout out to those homies. And I know here, let me open this back up. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, I don't have a bunch of other ones right in front of me. Smug's Greenery, I think Lab Coat Genetics, maybe Locomotive. And I want to get a few more on there for sure, because I like to have, we still have a few more vendor tables left, an assortment of breeders. I haven't reached out to James Bean. He usually has some hookups as well. Unless you have any recommendations, JR. What about Tiki?
Hey, I'll put it out there. If you're a breeder and you want to sling some gear to a crowd of people that are, like I said, 99.9% growers, you will want to be at this event. And it sounds like you've got a lot of space to do well.
Yeah, I was just, you were saying the Irie Army. I was thinking obviously there's Dude Grows crew. And then I recently stumbled into the Growing with Grow Dots Facebook group that has 7.6 thousand people in it on Facebook. So there's a Grow Dots army out there too. You could tap into.
I don't know. I'm on the fence. I gotta figure the dots right now, just for one more quick hit on Grow Talk, is like I'm so used to having control with liquids and it makes me somewhat paranoid, but yet the ease of it is very attractive. Like, especially like I'm going to be out of town once every month for the next 4 months. So I don't want to leave somebody with a mix these 4 things. And then I just want them to go in, especially since my wife helps me sometimes, take your plain water in there and hit each plant. So to be reported. I don't know. Can I officially, if I don't like it, talk shiz on Grow Dots and Dude Grow Show? We'll see.
Sure, I do it all the time. Just kidding.
Hell yeah, I'll speak my mind.
I've been using Grow Dots. I use all this stuff. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Brett. We really appreciate you hanging out with us tonight on a Monday night. Yeah, everyone check out the Dude Grows Cup. It's dgccup.com. Also, check out the Dude Grows Show and all their different channels on YouTube.
Just two. Dude Grows Show and Dude Grows Grow Talk.
Yeah. I think that's smart. I've thought about us creating a clips channel at some point, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Yeah, no, I really like that you guys are doing that. And yeah, once again, thanks to everyone that supports the show. Thanks to everyone in the CannaBuzz community. We had 420 grams, JPen 87, Mantis Cannabis 420, and others joined us in the live stream.
JPen out of Canada. What's up, JPen?
Yeah.
And shout outs to all of our sponsors as well. Thanks to all of you guys for supporting us. Thanks to everyone on YouTube and on Spotify. Please leave us a comment. We'd love to see you down there below. And we have more episodes on the way. Like you were saying, we've got first smoke of the day is a week from today, right?
Yep. Next week we'll have Lance on the show. Talk some more podcasting in the LA area.
Nice. Well, awesome. Thanks everyone for hanging out with us today. And as always, JR.
Growers love.
Peace, guys.
Say higher.